Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
Every single senator, every Democrat, and every Republican supports the bipartisan DHS funding bill.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
You're not supposed to racially gerrymander when you do redistricting. The court made that clear. I mean, it's a violation of the Voting Rights Act.
Well, in a huge Supreme Court decision yesterday, the Voting Rights Act will now be righted after, 50 years of being wronged and wrongly interpreted, at least according to a 6-3 majority of the court. I'm Randy Tobler, Peter Thielen for Stephanie Bell, John Marsh, and Drake Whitman along. We are Wake Up Missouri. Glad you're with us. And this, Peter, is going to throw even more chaos into the midterms. Louisiana's primary 2 weeks away. This racially gerrymandered district, what they call a minority majority district, which is unbelievable. Have you seen it? It looks like it looks like a streak. Like you take your Sharpie and go right across Louisiana. You know, it's crazy.
Is this just me? Am I living in a fantasy land?
No.
I don't care the ethnicity of the person I vote for. In fact, that's the last thing I care about. Mm-hmm. First thing I care about is, do they reflect my values to the best level? And also the thing that I also weigh is, are they a candidate that's going to win and that's going to be, that's not going to go Todd Aiken on us. I want a normal, winning people who are as conservative as I am. Sometimes it's tough to find
an effective conservative, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. John, this is. I think this is going to have ripple effects throughout states that maybe had contemplated doing something, maybe looking at whether the timeline works out for them. Certainly, it may even result in a constitutional challenge, according to the people I'm reading.
Yeah, that was my first thought when I heard this was, what about the Missouri cases that the judge has ruled on? Because we've had a half a dozen challenges to the redrawn congressional maps here. Now with the Supreme Court ruling, are they going to have to go back to square one again with, like you said, the midterms looming large?
I would think that weren't some of those challenges based on the lack of racial inclusivity? So I think they would be squashed. I think those challenges are dead. Because if
where's our resident counselor when we need her, right?
Yeah. If you're on the NAACP or you're one of the groups that advocates for racial gerrymandering, I think this just pretty much you might as well close your doors, because anymore you can't argue. Well, look at what happened in Kansas City, right? I mean, Emanuel Cleaver represented a largely black district. Well, they changed that to represent a not majority black district. And I think now any racial challenge to Missouri's redistricting goes away. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I'm reading it.
And again, as I look at the whole process here, and I think this is for most Americans, I don't ever consider race of the person I'm voting for as a first or last or a first place thing on why I vote. And just because someone is a member of an ethnic group that represents a district with a lot of that ethnic group, whether it be black or Latino or Asian, whatever it may be, it doesn't mean they have the best interests of that community in their mind. It's just somebody that, again, I just think we have to get rid of the whole DEI thing. Let's find great candidates and great people. And I don't care what they look like. I just don't care.
Look at some of the fantastic conservative people of black or brown color that have come into this tent in the last decades, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Mean, you may disagree with Condoleezza Rice, but Condoleezza Rice is an American patriot. You may disagree with Clarence Thomas. Look at what this man has done in terms of true constitutional conservative jurisprudence. You may disagree with Ben Carson, but my God, the guy is a true blue conservative.
He's brilliant.
Who loves America and loves Americans.
Thomas Sowell is one of my favorites. But again,
Walter Williams.
Yes, it's again, just looking at this thing is that just because somebody looks like you does not mean they're going to represent your best interests. That's what we have been told over and over again, that only a black person who can represent black people. Really?
Yeah.
Or only a white person can represent white people. If I say that's racist.
Yeah.
I again, we are put in this position, and it's meaningless. No one cares. I'm more than happy to vote for people that don't look like me. If they represent my values, fine. That's all I care about.
Yep.
And I think most people are that way.
Well, I'm still remembering at the Ice Cream Social, America 250 Ice Cream Social in Columbia on Tuesday, when Kiara Johnson stood up there and said, well, just because I'm black don't assume I'm a Democrat. And that's how she started her talk, or right near the top of her talk. And I think maybe this is, in fact, now cementing for so many Americans the view, the behavior, the life, the values, that we are truly going to judge voters and who they vote for by a very interesting set of standards, gentlemen. And it's just something that I thought of. I thought of this for the first time. We're going to judge them by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Of course I didn't.
Yeah, you are Martin Luther King.
No, you know what I mean? Finally, it's like we're getting back to that. That's what this ruling means to me. It's like we're not going to pander to you and assume that we need to...
Whatever group. I don't even care what the group is. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Good for you. Good.
I just...
all right.
I just like the idea that let's just... It's these districts... Again, gerrymandering has been a part of things that have gone on where people have added a Republican or a Democrat seat. It's part of the deal. It goes back to the beginning of the country. This is not This is not like something that woke up yesterday. I do love the Democrats' argument that the state had 40% votes for Kamala Harris. So 40%, if there's 10 districts, 4 have to be for Democrats. Then you go, well, what about Massachusetts?
Right.
Oh, that's different.
That's right.
What about Illinois? Oh, that's different. Really? It's just nuttier than hell.
Well, we're going to be talking some security and safety this morning at 7:08. We'll talk with Megan Mobbs. She's a former paratrooper. She's the director of the Center for Security and Safety for Independent Women, a West Point graduate, and see what she has to say now that Donald Trump is talking again, and apparently, according to reports, either I think is going to get today, I believe it's today, he's going to get today or tomorrow, a briefing on new military options. I think his patience is beginning to run thin, and he's going to be looking at that. We're going to talk to Megan, and then Steve Bucci along the same lines at 8:08. I think that what might be called a stalemate over there so far is not really a stalemate. There's a pause in the action. Is that enabling Iran to do the rope-a-dope? To use an old Muhammad Ali term, are they going to just maybe rearm through some land transport of missiles and armaments from Russia, from China, who knows? Or are they just...
Works both ways, doesn't it, as Colonel Booth just told us. We're rearming as well and resting up.
And I think at the end of the day, they are just licking their chops, thinking they're going to get away with this. Every day that we are closer to the midterms, every day Americans pay more at the pump. They're gambling that American political patience will run out before the people that can't afford to buy a loaf of bread there run back into the streets. I think they're gambling a political timeline on this, Peter. I think they're just waiting, thinking Trump's going to finally cave because the midterms are coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to see. In other news, the Fed held rates steady. We'll talk about that more when Peter brings you the morning bell later on. That's another big thing. There's a lot of disagreement, apparently, at the Fed. A lot of the members of the Fed apparently are not a lot, but I mean, several were like, no, we need to get those rates down.
No, there's no question the rates need to go down. It's this has been something that's been going on from there. We have created an economy even with all the wonderful changes Donald Trump has done, that is mirroring stagflation. And we have to get into a growth mode. And it's, come on, gang. The interest rates have to go down. And here's what the problem is with higher interest rates. Whether you're in Springfield, Jefferson City, or Columbia, real estate values have grown artificially, dramatically artificially. It's mainly because there's not enough new housing being built.
Yeah, supply and demand, pretty simple.
And especially with Springfield and Columbia.
Yeah.
The people freak out over the idea of building a new apartment complex or a new house. Well, gang, both of these communities need new homes. And what's happening, of course, in Springfield is they're now getting urban sprawl. Instead of having a centralized area where more people are living, now people are moving out to Nixa and Republic and all these different places, mainly because you can build a home there easier. But again, we need to build houses. We need apartment complexes. Everything is artificially high.
I saw the median price in Columbia for a house is something around $330,000, $340,000, maybe a little higher, $1,000.
And median. That's ridiculous.
Can you believe that?
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's artificially high. Once you start building homes, it begins to change.
That's Peter Thiel in for Stephanie. I'm Randy Tobler. John Marsh will be bringing you the Daily DC Rundown in 7, 6, 5. We'll be back.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
know that the holdup now is not Democrats in the House, it's Republicans in the House, and it's a measure that the president supported. So I would expect the Republicans to either come in the House to come up with something that we can vote on that the president supports, or vote on something that we provided them that the president supports.
What is Senator Tom Tillis talking about? Let's see if John Marsh knows on the Daily DC Rundown.
No, beats the heck out of me.
That's that House vote coming up on the ice.
Yep. House adopted the Senate-approved budget plan, the first step in the strategy that would allow Republicans to fund the federal immigration agencies through the rest of Trump's term. It cleared 215 to 211, and it now directs the committee folks that oversee ICE and the Border Patrol put together their own legislation to deliver about $70 billion to those agencies. Ron warning the U.S. naval blockade was doomed to fail as energy prices soared to their highest point in years, with the standoff over the strait wreaking havoc on the global economy. Brent crude up to $1.16 a barrel. Gas prices an average of $4.30 a gallon. $3.89.9 I saw driving in mid-Missouri. Former FBI Director James Comey made his first court appearance after his indictment a day earlier for allegedly making threats against the president. He did not enter a plea, charged with knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and inflict bodily harm on the president. Round that hit the Secret Service officer during Saturday's shooting outside the ballroom where the White House Correspondents' Dinner was taking place was not friendly fire. Justice Department folks working with the ATF say the gunman, 31-year-old Cole Allen, fired his shotgun and likely hit the cell phone tucked in the pocket of the bulletproof vest of the officer, who was not badly hurt. And, gosh, I guess that's pretty much where we're at.
The Daily DC Rundown with John.
Yeah.
You know, this Comey thing is getting a lot of response. Is it a direct threat if you just comment on something without saying, I wish someone would 8647 the president? I mean, if you just, you show a picture on this, what did he post? What did it say? Interesting or something like that, right?
Yeah,
well, it was interesting.
He just ran to shells on the beach. Randomly there.
Washed up like that. I thought the president had a good take on it. He kind of called out the gangster movies.
Yeah.
And said when you hear the gangsters in the movies talk about, hey, 86 Lenny, and he was like, yeah, it's common knowledge that 86 means kill him. Take him out of the equation.
But to be very literal about it, if I say I write on a piece of paper 8647, I wish this would happen to the president, is that a direct threat to say, I'm going to do this to the president? Those are two very different statements.
Again, you're somebody who's a former FBI director. You are putting into the idea of 8647. You're also dealing with Donald Trump, who has been under assassination attempts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is a completely classless move by an egotistical moron. And the idea here is that, Randy, let's just say, for argument's sake, you threaten to kill me.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to jail.
Right.
I report that, and you're going to jail. You're at least being arrested. Mm-hmm. You're at least going to be going in. If you sit there and say, Peter, I hate you, I'm going to kill you.
My understanding
Watch
is
your back.
That's a felony. Yeah.
Yes. So, what's the difference?
Oh, no, but the difference is he didn't say, and I'm just arguing devil's advocate here. That's all. He didn't say.
I try not to advocate for the devil.
Well, that's what we do here is we talk it up. All right, there's Peter. He's not going to be the devil in any way, shape, or form. But
Lee
Zeldin's calling out someone named Sheldon Whitehouse. They had it back and forth. We'll be back with that. Wake Up Missouri returns. Stay tuned.
has already cost Michiganders $600 million in excess health costs. That is money out of consumers' pockets and into the pockets of your fossil fuel polluters, Trump's big donors.
Can we talk about your math yet?
Are you even tracking the consumer cost of those coal plants?
We're going to get to talk about math.
Are you even tracking the consumer costs of those coal plants?
Oh, no. Oh, this is great. So I don't even know where to start with all of the messed up
Answer
math.
that question. Are you even tracking the consumer costs of those coal plants?
And costs are going down across the country when you look at EPA's impacts.
Where are you tracking the consumer costs of those coal plants?
When you look at are you kidding me? The coal plants even staying open? You think that the math is it's better for West Virginia if you close down their coal plants and put these people out of work and tell them to learn to code? According to you, in your mind, that's saving West Virginia?
Well, that was Lee Zeldin firing back at Sheldon Whitehouse. And I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I have about had it up to here. No, up to here. No, up to here with pompous legislators playing gotcha with administration officials. I am just tired of it. Or anyone who witnesses, who testifies with them. I've about had it.
I'm all in, by the way, on the idea of a good debate and making sure things are being administered properly. But so many of our legislators, and this happens on the state level, happens in city councils, happens all over the place, where all of a sudden these people want to make brownie points for their tribe. Mm-hmm. Instead of examining, all right, how do we make this work and more efficient for the people? And this is not about Sheldon Whitehouse is not interested in helping the people.
Of course not.
He is interested in his little left-wing utopia that he dreams of as he goes to his whites-only club. And, I mean, it's just nuts.
Followed closely by just doing whenever there's an opportunity to snipe at the other side, right? And we see it on both sides of the aisle. But, I mean, the Democrats in particular have such TDS, and it's so on fire throughout their whole systems. Their whole nervous system is just infected with the TDS virus. Anytime anyone in Trump orbits approaches them, it's immediately personalized, it's snarky, it's petty. What Sheldon Whitehouse was getting at is, okay, coal-fired plants are going to have maybe theoretically some cost with lung, damage and this and that. What is that costing? Because the federal law says you have to have an evaluation of what a policy move, the cost to consumers. Okay, and Lee Zeldin's charge is to look at the cost of consumers of the electrical production, not the health ramifications.
Well, and this is the same Democratic Party that's fighting against RFK Jr.'s Maha agenda, they're actually standing up for meaningless foods like Pop-Tarts, like candy, like all these types of things, because the Democrats have learned having a sick populace is very good for business for them.
And you can have a dependent populace on the health care that you'd like to make single payer. Now, wait a minute. You said something that sounded like fighting words. Did you see Drake Whitman sit up in his chair and put on boxing gloves when you said something disparaging about Pop-Tarts?
You know what?
Drake got very worked up over that. Drake, you okay?
Bring the fire. Bring the fire. I dare you.
Hey, no, I'm actually okay with people not liking Pop-Tarts. More for me. Brings the price.
You know what? I found a sleeve of Pop-Tarts. The grandkids were in, I don't know, a month or so ago. And here, I found back in the back of the pantry, I found a sleeve of Pop-Tarts, and I'm like, do I eat them or do I put them aside for their next trip? It was a scruples moment for me.
You ate them.
The Pop-Tarts still survive. They are still in their wrapper.
I've got you beat. We looked in the pantry here in the building the other day and found the strangest flavor unopened box of Pop-Tarts.
What flavor?
Root beer.
Oh, I didn't know they made a root beer.
That's probably limited supply.
That must be old. What was the expiration date? I got it.
It doesn't matter with Pop-Tarts.
We didn't check them. We just fed them to Kevin on the country station.
That's fair. What's his rating? What does he think of them?
The expiration date on John after he eats the Pop-Tarts or on the Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, exactly.
Now here's the thing is that there's no nutritional value. It's all preservatives. A Pop-Tart probably keeps better than dehydrated foods.
Yeah. There is
really
nutrition in the Pop-Tarts if you eat the box.
Yes, yeah, it's a heck of a deal all the way around. So here's what I'm sick of: these politicians, talking about their moral superiority. If I ever hear another Democrat say this line again, I'm just going to puke. I'm going to projectile puke everywhere. We are on the wrong side of history.
Oh yeah.
If I ever hear that again, get out of my way. It's not going to be pretty.
I'm telling you, this TDS thing is a real. I
have a friend of mine.
It's a real deal.
A real good friend of mine, and he has full thing TDS.
Really?
And
full
so
blown.
right after the Iranian thing, he comes after me, just by text. He starts texting me angry stuff about bombing Iran, and I said, "Well, isn't it a good thing if Iran becomes a free country?" And
who could argue?
And I said, imagine this is a country that kills women for showing their hair. This, if somebody's a homosexual, they hang them. Okay, and so this guy had to, and I was actually very disappointed in this. He actually had to divert the argument to start talking about the Saudis, and I said, that's not an argument. That you're talking about another country.
Okay.
We're talking about the Iranians here. Are the Iranians, is it okay with you that they kill women for showing their hair? Please let me know. I want to know.
I know.
Let me know if you're into and this guy, obviously he's a big lefty. Let me know if, executing people for being gay is a good idea. Do you like that?
Right.
And I mean, it was like I hammered this guy, and I just said, I'm so disappointed with your thought through this. I said, you're blinded by hate for Donald Trump. You're blinded. and he goes, no, I'm not.
It is.
And I said, yes, you are.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
I said, I couldn't stand some of the policies of Barack Obama and Joe Biden. I did not seethe and sweat and scream over everything that Barack Obama or Joe Biden did. I just didn't. You know why? I have a life, and I'm not going to allow anything to get in my way.
Well, there's no doubt that you can get too immersed and too wrapped up in and too influenced by and too affected by and lose literally sleep over politics and getting all worked up over it. At the end of the day, we have still the best life in the best country and the most prosperity and the best standard of living in the world. Right?
Yes.
Right, Drake?
Why are you bringing me into yeah, of course.
But it could be so much better. We could return some of our freedoms and our liberties. And we could return, I think, to a time and a place where the government didn't have to tax us as much because the government didn't know what was good for us.
Well, and again, I just don't understand, and I'm very disappointed with Republicans in the state of Missouri and also at the federal level. They have not looked at the cutting that needs to happen. They just haven't. There's been some. Doge was super successful. I literally think that okay, let's look at every program. Let's find out the efficiencies. Let's find the duplications. If there's a duplication of services, let's merge those services together. Let's get rid of a bunch of administrators, save some money. I'm all about the state providing certain things. Roads, and some people do need help. I don't have a problem with that, but I dislike the idea of corruption, duplication, and the lack of looking at our money as other people's money.
Yeah.
If somebody hands you, Randy, somebody hands you $100, and say, here you go, Randy. What do you do with that money? Most people do this. They go, oh, you know what? I'm going to go out and have myself. You're going to take Helene out for a nice dinner.
Absolutely.
And you're going to go do that.
Yeah.
And where if it was your money, you may not.
Yeah. Yeah, and Milton Friedman had made this in a famous, reel years ago. A lot of people, and he said, what is the most wasteful way? He goes through a matrix. When you spend your own money, that is the way you are going to be more value seeking, right?
Yes.
When you spend someone else's money on yourself, that's when you're going to really be less frugal. When you spend someone else's money on someone else, you don't really care, right? You don't care because you're not benefiting from. That's what politicians are doing.
That's Milton Friedman, the guy who coined the phrase, no such thing as a fair lunch.
That's right.
Milton Friedman.
Yeah, and again, we have to, as I look at our legislators and the governor and the president and stuff like that, I really think that looking at cuts, looking at efficiencies, being good stewards of my money and your money, I'm all in on that.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that Mike Kehoe doesn't or Donald Trump isn't looking that way. I will say, if I ever hear a time where there's a 2% increase in spending and the Democrats scream about it being a cut, I'm going to scream bloody murder.
Yeah, that's right. A decrease in the expected increase somehow is now a cut. Check your Webster or your Oxford dictionary on that, would you?
Yeah, it's called Orwellian. It's called absolutely Orwellian.
Friedman also said, wasn't he the guy who said there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program?
Yeah, that's right. Well, guys, if you're 40-ish, 50-ish, and you're not having any problems with your prostate, let's talk about what you can avoid or what you can do to avoid having problems with your prostate, or at least reducing the risk when we come back on Make America's Prostate Healthy Again.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
talk about are not maybe current problems, but things you do today can reduce or enhance your risk of having a problem or not later.
Enhance, you say? You tease us. It's a prostate. Haha. Okay.
No,
we're not laughing at jokes today.
Increase the chances of that.
Yeah.
So one of the most enhance.
Touche.
Well, the prostate, I don't think about the prostate enhancing, but increasing. It's another word for enhance or for increase.
Is that, by the way, for anybody in the medical profession?
Yeah.
Doing the digital thing on the prostate that doesn't seem like a lot of fun.
The digital thing on the prostate?
Yeah.
We don't do that very much anymore. Current thought is, as long as there's not symptoms, and if you're PSA, that's the prostate-specific antigen. It's a test done to monitor prostate cancer if you have it, and the treatment if you've had it treated, or to maybe to detect it earlier. That can rise, and most often it rises because of benign prostatic hypertrophy, meaning a bigger prostate. Should be walnut-sized. It's a little gland that sits right atop the bladder.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be walnut size, you're saying?
Yeah. You can laugh, but 30% of men over 65 and 5% of men 40 to 60 have this problem. Millions and millions of men have a problem where it means a decreased urinary stream, urgency, frequency up a lot at night, weak flow, and it causes problems. Well, the deal is that you can do a lot to modify your risk of that. Now, you can't change your genetics, and people who have a dad or a brother will have 3, 4, 5 times the risk of having this problem if it's in your family.
If you have a dad or a brother?
But take a look at look down, and if you've got a big dad bod, if you've got a belly that makes your waist to hip ratio, waist circumference to hip circumference ratio larger, because you're an apple, not a cut Schwarzenegger plank, you're at higher risk. Alcohol drinking may increase symptoms and can affect the risk of it. Caffeine drinking, a sedentary lifestyle, smoking, and medical conditions, metabolic syndrome. If you have hypertension, prediabetes, abnormal cholesterol levels, very often that combination of those kind of things are signs that you may be at higher risk for that. What can you do about it? Well, we talk about it a lot. Eat your starch. Yeah, eat that box. Not just the Pop-Tarts, Drake. Eat your fiber. Get your fiber.
When you said look down, that's not at all. Like, I didn't think you were talking about the stomach.
I'm talking about your belly. You guys are all. John, they're in the gutter this morning. I'm trying to talk medical health here. And Peter and Drake are just in the gutter.
What's this?
I'm not.
What's this them chemo-savvy, right?
Well, if Benjamin Netanyahu was listening right now, he probably would have caught this it was prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer.
Yeah, but he's a thin guy.
Yeah, Randy. So you can get cancer without being thin. Is that right?
In fact, you're more likely to get cancer if you're obese because there's a direct connection between many cancers, men and women's cancers, and overweight.
Yeah, but I was getting the idea that since I'm pretty thin, that I'm not going to have to worry about cancer. That's what I was picking up.
Well, I would think you have less of a risk overall. That's true.
Slim horse wins the race.
But 21-year-olds are generally thin.
But if you're thin because you're malnourished or smoking, that's not helpful to you.
Oh, don't call me out like that. I don't have prostate
I didn't
cancer.
say you did.
I think that's what you're trying to get at, Randy.
This segment is degenerating, ladies and gentlemen.
Rapidly.
For you guys out there, I'm telling you, if you have someone that's had prostate problems in your family, talk to your doc about it, because while you may not be able to absolutely reduce your risk to the normal average population risk, you can do something lifestyle to reduce that risk. That's Make Missouri's Prostate Healthy Again for today.
Thanks for the tip.
On Wake Up.
Fit that on your hat.
Back with Megan Bobs in a minute. Safety and security on tap.
the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
Every single senator, every Democrat, and every Republican supports the bipartisan DHS funding bill.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri on this busy Thursday morning. It's a real pleasure to talk with Megan Mobbs from the Independent Women at IWF.org. Megan is the director of the Center for Security and Safety, and herself a real patriot, graduate of West Point, a former paratrooper, and just an all-around defender of all things good and America first. How you doing, Megan? Thanks for joining us. Megan, there? There she is. Sorry, we missed you there for a minute. How you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, no, thanks for having me. So much to talk about.
There is. You know, it's being reported that Donald Trump is going to be briefed by military officials again about, I don't know what to call it, phase 2, the next phase, escalating the kinetic action over in Iran. A, do you think that is going to be necessary given the intransigence of Iran, of the Iranians? And B, what could be on tap in terms of that escalation?
So you're exactly right. There's going to be a major meeting later today. It's going to be led by CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper. You're also obviously going to have the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane, there, Secretary Hegseth. And the expectation is that they're going to be briefing a number of different potential new plans for military action. And I'm going to assume this is going to include everything for resuming kinetic operations. By that, I mean, but clearly bombing here, potentially a short and powerful wave of strikes on Iran, potentially against infrastructure targets. And I think the intent right there, if we move forward with something like that, is the hopes of breaking this kind of negotiating deadlock that we're seeing right now, and that Iran would return back to the negotiating table with better kind of deals than they had previously returned. And I think that's the hope. At the end of the day, though, the president has been very clear that he is not going to budge here. He is a little bit settling in for the long haul in order to make sure that we do achieve the objectives he put out forward. And that in particular is making sure that Iran is non-nuclear.
Talking with Megan Mobbs on Wake Up Missouri. I don't know. Do you think Iran is just playing a waiting game? Is it just a waiting game to see if the patience of the American electorate bleeds into the calculations in the White House and at the Pentagon? Well, the White House primarily. That, hey, the midterms are coming. People don't like paying high gas prices. You guys got to do something. And they finally say, hey, look, we've really knocked them back for at least a couple of decades, and enough. Or do you think no matter what it takes, the resolve is there and we will continue until that uranium is captured, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, I'm going to hope that the resolve is there for a variety of reasons related to our safety and security. And of course, the regime is going to be as intransigent as possible because they understand this is kind of the final dying gasp that they have in order to retain power. The problem is that they don't have any power. And I think the other thing here that we've talked about previously is that decision-making right now is so decentralized because we've done such damage to all of the decision-making apparatuses within the regime. And so I think a little bit this is also they're not really quite sure what to do, how to make decisions, and who really actually has power in this situation. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to push that the president needs to hold the line firm. We have to ensure that we secure Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium. But I would say that the risk is always that our enemies, whether that is Iran, China, Russia, they do understand by virtue of the fact that we're this thriving democracy, they do understand that our votes count. And to your point, if Americans are feeling a little bit of pain at the gas pump, that can lead to some substantial policy decisions that I would say would be not in our best interest. So I'm going to push for the presidential resolve here in order to ensure our long-term safety and security, even if that does mean a little bit of short-term pain for us in our pocketbooks.
What do you think's happening in the back channels as far as China primarily, but also Russia to a smaller extent? Are they trying to coerce Iran into ending this, or are they rearming them, or a combination of both?
I think that they are trying to do exactly what we've seen them try to do in Ukraine, is that they want to prolong this as long as possible because they do believe that that weakens America over time. And so they do want, I think, Iran to be, especially China, I would say, be a little bit of kind of this battering ram that's taking all of this punishment. Obviously, one of the things that is concerning is the amount of munitions that we are using. Now, I shouldn't say, one of the things I've heard someone say before is that all of these weapon systems are not made with unobtainium, meaning we could actually restock ourselves aggressively if we had the political willpower to do it, which I would push this administration to do so. But that being said, our enemies do hope that these conflicts stay prolonged in order to kind of bleed us dry of both resolve and our weapon systems. And so I do think there's coordination in the background that's happening. And we've obviously seen some reports released with regard to China and Russia helping Iran in this military operation.
Do you think the decentralized leadership in Iran is actually creating the process for a longer fight instead of going out and just decapitating everyone around the former Ayatollah?
I do think that this decentralization is not necessarily working in our favor in the sense of establishing a deal. Now, obviously, I'm thrilled that we have removed so many of them from power. That was absolutely necessary. But I do think that's causing a bit of confusion on the Iranian side about who speaks for whom, who has the power, who can make the decisions. And this is where I think the president recognizes that he's going to potentially have to take more aggressive action in order to, even though, again, I'm going to acknowledge regime change was not necessarily one of our stated objectives, but I think in order for us to have a stable long-term solution, that simply has to happen. And so I do think that's going to be one of the things discussed today.
Talking with Megan Mobbs, former Afghanistan combat veteran, West Point grad, former Army officer, and the director of Independent Women's Center for American Safety and Security on Wake Up Missouri. Now, if we can pivot to domestic safety and security, specifically for the executive branch, what a close call it was with pretty much everyone in the executive branch, the president, the vice president, the cabinet members, with a near miss the other day, right? Saturday night.
Yes.
What needs to be done to tighten things? We're day 75 of no funding for Secret Service and other departments in the DHS. What kind of a message does this send? What action are you calling for?
So we are calling clearly to independent women. We are calling to fully fund DHS. Obviously, there has been funding set aside for some areas of DHS from a previous funding bill that does allow some of them to be paid. But just broadly speaking, our safety and security should never be used as a political tool for political gamemanship on the Hill. I think Americans recognize that, and DHS must be fully funded. And I want to say here that, we can absolutely celebrate the courage of United States Secret Service. You clearly saw them stepping in front of the president, willing to risk their lives and limbs in order to protect the commander-in-chief. And there were some clear challenges related to establishing a secure perimeter around this event, in particular with so many very important people present in this venue. And this just goes to show you that, we are vulnerable in many different ways, that a focus has to be on, just given the nature of how things are happening in the world, that safety and security when it comes to situations like this are paramount. And so we do need it fully funded. And I also do think that there are some changes that have to be made in DHS with regarding perimeter security when events like this do occur.
Megan, I saw a brilliant deconstruction of the fake, phony, factual, the misfactual information that the media and the left are trying to put out about political violence somehow being an equal game on each side. And it turns out that, like Batya Ungar-Sargon was saying, these groups that look at this, they don't count the BLM riots. They don't count, they don't count the lives lost in the name of anti-Semitism, and the statistics are clear, aren't they? That this is mainly a problem from the left, political violence. How do we get the word out there, the factual word out there, and how finally do we put an end to the incitement of and the commitment of political violence against conservatives in this country?
Well, I think that's exactly right. And this is where I do get frustrated because the data is clear. I mean, independent women, we are very focused on making sure we're called independent women for a reason, because we really want to make sure that what we're doing is not seen through this kind of fake partisan lens that really were getting facts out there. And you're exactly right. So 2025 was the first time in more than 30 years that left-wing terrorist attacks outnumbered those from the right, and it is increasing, as we obviously saw after the Charlie Kirk killing, amongst other things. And the reality is, I think so much of this is, in particular, kind of funneled and fomented on social media, as we're seeing by outside, even foreign countries like China, funding some of this violence rhetoric on the left online, and that's leading to more violence that's occurring on the left against the right. And so I think to ignore that is extremely problematic, because we have to make sure that we're both capturing the violent spike on the left while also recognizing there is the potential for right-wing violence to kind of become a backlash to all that's happening. At the end of the day, I think this is where we have to put aside all of our partisan differences. We are Americans first, and no violence against any political party should be condoned, should be endorsed. And tragically, we saw many pundits on the left cheerleading what happened.
That's Megan Mobbs. We thank you for your service to the country and for your insights and analysis on Wake Up Missouri. You're spot on. I hope folks check out more of what you and your colleagues are doing at IWF.org. Thanks, Megan. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Hope to talk soon.
Okay, I do too. Look, it is so crystal clear when you hear the ideas articulated like that. It is hard to imagine that we're in the cesspool of political violence, the violent rhetoric, the incitement of it coming from all corners, and the media dismissing it away. Peter, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, and again, it's going to a political rally or the president going to dinner or whatever. This should not be a moment of thinking about it's dangerous. People should live in and not worry about violence. And when people, and some of these people have more than just TDS, they're mentally ill.
Yeah.
And TDS has become, Trump derangement syndrome, has become sort of like the impetus for them to act. Mental health is a real big issue. And there are people that, quite frankly, are, on this, should be in an insane asylum and should be force-fed meds to keep their brains in order.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Speaking of brains in order, thank you, Nathan. Nathan corrected me, and I knew it right after I said it. I called it a near miss. It was a near hit or a close call. A near miss is actually a hit. There you go. But that's the difference between calling truth out and masquerading as truth when you're actually telling falsehoods. Megan's a powerful spokeswoman for safety and security. When we come back, we'll talk more about politicians gone mad on Wake Up Missouri. Stay tuned.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
We talk fairly frequently, sadly, about grandstanding politicians that like to make videos for their next or for this current election cycle if they're a House member, because every election cycle is an election cycle for them, every 2 years, of course. Sometimes senators, Well, the other day, there was a Democratic rep, name is Garamendi. I don't know where he's from. But he referred to what's going on. Pete Hegseth was testifying, and he referred to what was going on in Iran as a quagmire.
An 8-week quagmire doesn't quite work.
Yeah, I don't think, I think, could we say that maybe is a little hyperbolic? Would you call it a quagmire? I don't know. Well, Pete Hegseth had a few thoughts about that.
What we have right now, the way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in. The effort, what they've undertaken, what they've succeeded, the success on the battlefield that could create strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront a nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing propaganda to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. And statements like that are reckless to our troops. Don't say I support the troops on one hand, and then a 2-month mission is a quagmire. That's a false equivalation. Who are you cheering for here? Who you
Well, who are you cheering for?
Yeah.
He's really right. I mean, you think that statements made like that, anti-war statements made like that, are not being played in every outlet where they still have a radio playing in Iran, from the state news there, the state-owned news, right? And that becomes propaganda for the people. And it's just abhorrent. That's fine. If you want to have those discussions, among yourselves, but to call it a quagmire, it's not a quagmire. It's a strategic intervention in what everyone around the world, except for Russia and China, every country around the world agrees these are a bully, evil, hell-bent on destruction locally and far away, and that's Iran. They've done it through proxies. They were building the equipment, the missiles, the enriching the uranium to do it up to what did we find? 4,000, not 2,000 kilometers away. They could reach Europe. And to call it a quagmire, we're 2 months into this thing, really with epic fury and economic fury, bringing them to their knees. And to have these senators, and he's right. Fine, if you're going to be against the war, be against the war. But don't say, I support the troops. I support the troops. BS.
Well, and let's be very honest here, Randy.
Lily-livered
Democrats. Is that if Barack Obama would have gone after the Iranians and would have done what Donald Trump did, the Republicans would have been cheering him. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats would as well. Why? Because every president has said they wanted to do this, that the Iranians were an existential threat not only to the United States but to the world, because a nuclear Iran could hold our nation and our world hostage. And people forget that.
And they forget, too, Peter, you're so right. They forget the fundamental difference between a nuclear Russia with those values where they value their own life and life on Earth versus the radical mullahs that rule in Iran. They actually want to go somewhere else, to paradise. That's a huge difference in terms of a worldview and how they view their use of their weapons. It's an absolutely 180-degree view. And I'm glad that Pete Hegseth...
They said they genuinely wanted to kill us, not live with us.
I think just low
Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri. We're going to talk with Steve Bucci about Iran. It's been a little bit backburnered because of, DHS funding battle and reconciliation process, and then, of course, the shooting last Saturday. But I think it's going to be back on the front burner very soon. The Royals are visiting Virginia today. I think there's going to be a Kings rally there. Just kidding. Peter's in for Stephanie. John's there. Drake, I'm Randy. Our number is 573-874-9390 if you want to text us, 800-529-5572 for calling. And Peter, big event coming up next Wednesday.
Yes, at KWTO Studios in Springfield, your opportunity to meet Eric Erickson, hang out with Randy and Stephanie and Elijah Haar and the whole bit. Free to attend. There's going to be a cash bar, but there's going to be wonderful appetizers. All you have to do is register now at 933kwto.com. Register now and be a part of it. We look forward to meeting everybody there.
It'll be fun.
And so here's the for most people, for a lot of people, they get paid on the last day of the month on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a payday ritual? Do you and Helene have a payday ritual when you get in?
No.
Drake, do you?
Yeah, it's called gambling.
Okay, very good.
That's good. No.
Marsh.
No payday ritual. No. I usually am looking at like what bills we can pay with whatever came in.
That's kind of mine. Mine's sort of the check the auto pays and make sure they went through. Matter of fact, I just did that a little while ago on one of them.
Do you have one, Peter?
Yeah, I usually go to eat.
Oh, okay.
I usually do something nice for dinner or for lunch, and that's normally what I do on payday.
So you connect all of your hard work with a little reward.
Yeah, a little reward.
There you go. Okay.
And so I go out and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I go in, but I know a lot of people have sort of payday rituals. And yes, I did pay my bills this morning at 4.
Okay.
At
4 a.m.
Yeah.
You're paying bills. Peter Thiel, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I do it, I'm not writing checks.
Yeah. You
just
trust the
online.
online. Yeah, okay.
It was no big deal. It took me 3 minutes.
Okay. You don't have it on auto pay.
I don't do auto pay except for insurance and my cell phone.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of auto pay because there are times like it can be, you have to really be on top of looking at your balance and looking at your stuff. So I do my best to ignore auto pay as, I save like $5 with my cell phone company, and I save a little bit with my insurance company to do auto pay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do that.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is go out, pay the bills. I already know what I have left.
Mm-hmm.
I can go donate something to charity, and I can go
maybe squirrel a little bit away in savings. Maybe.
Yeah.
Every little bit counts.
Yeah. It's I have not bought my Bitcoin yet today.
Now, that's interesting. You said that the order was pay your bills, give yourself a little reward, and then, maybe some savings. What about the advice you hear from financial people that say the first thing you do is put away 10% or put away 5% or put away $10, whatever. The first thing you do is save and then look at the rest. No?
I think that's good advice.
Yeah.
I just don't do it that way.
Okay.
It's do you save first?
I have automatic savings. Yes.
Okay.
What do you do, Drake? Are you saving as a young man? Or
I invest.
You investing? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
invest in the Knicks to win that night usually.
Interesting.
Hey, you laugh, but I've probably made more money off of sports gambling than you guys have with the stocks and all of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I can tell by the Lamborghini you drive.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, you didn't have to bring that up here. My 2011 Toyota
boy, that was a low blow. That was a below the belt blow there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry that I can't see when my battery on my car is getting charged and whatever, or it's using energy, taking energy, and all that with your fancy little screen. I I have a car that gets me from A to B, and that's all I need. In fact, if I win the lottery, I'm not buying a Lamborghini.
That's actually fairly sound financial philosophy. Don't invest a lot in a car. Cars only depreciate. Not a bad idea.
You can invest in real estate, which God help me, but
But there comes that point with every automobile that you wonder, and especially with the expensive repairs. How often have we had to through our lives make that choice? You got that car, it's got $150K on it, and oh man, I'm looking at a $3,000 repair, $2,000 repair, and you go, I don't know, am I going to throw good money after bad? Okay, one more time. It's always have you had that, John, come up where it's like, oh, I don't know.
I keep driving the stuff with the high miles on it.
Yeah.
Because I know you got Helene a new vehicle.
Well, yeah,
recently,
because what happened with that one,
had to.
We were right at about 200,000, and then all of a sudden it just lost power, and I was smelling gasoline.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
I guess gas was getting into the cylinders because
weak, Randy.
Everything was
weak.
screwed up with the rings or something. I don't know. So it would have been like a $5,000 repair, and I just wasn't going to go there with a 200,000-mile car. Maybe that was a bad decision.
200,000, and you're like, oh, I have to go get a new car. You're weak. In this economy, you drive it till it's got 280. You drive it till it's got 350.
Now, you missed Drake. Okay, we got to have I got to do some papa splaining to you.
Oh God.
If this were my vehicle, I might consider this. You missed the very pivotal element of that decision-making process.
Yeah, I'm
this
sorry.
is my
That's
wife's
That's right.
vehicle.
Yeah, and earlier you said that if someone gives you $100, you go and spend it on a nice dinner with Helene, but you're not doing that with your own money. Are you being cheap on Helene?
No, that's why we got a new car. Thank you very much. If I was going to be cheap, I'd have just gotten her 200,000-mile car repaired, and then something else for $10,000 would have blown off.
You know how much money you're spending on gas right now with your Big A truck?
I don't know what to do.
Trade that in for like
truck.
a 2006 Civic, and spend that money on Helene. That's what you need to do.
I do. I've gone to keeping a carton of eggs under the accelerator pedal.
There you go.
Really?
There you go.
You got to go easy.
What's diesel up to this morning, Doctor?
I haven't looked this morning. Last time I did, it was $4.89. Unbelievable.
Ouch. Wow.
I mean,
and gas is 10 cents away from $4 a gallon in mid-Missouri.
But I'm hearing in Boonville, we had a listener text us earlier saying Boonville was $3.59 at the Boonville exits. To the
wow.
store. Yeah.
That's
wow.
That's pretty nice.
But by the time you drive there,
well, in your car, yes. In your vehicle, yes.
I don't know.
And you risk getting robbed or shot at the Isle of Capri. So
I don't know. Did they?
No, they have not found.
They haven't caught the second guy.
Still on the run.
And
or the money.
Or the money.
Oh my goodness.
And I am guessing that feller is probably at an international location.
In Costa Rica.
Yes, enjoying a delightful drink with an umbrella and chilling like a villain. 1.3 is pretty good. He had to lie on the manifest to get on the plane.
Having a ghostwriter do a pitch to Netflix for the movie, right?
Yes.
So that someday you'll see that as a mini series on Netflix. How I did it and got away with it, right?
It's good. They'll have Leo DiCaprio play him.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess if you know what you're doing about sports betting, maybe it is I don't know. Well, you've got time to recover from losses, Drake. I mean, if the investment, big air quotes, if the investment, goes south, you have time to recover. The older you get, the less that you're willing to gamble with your money because, you don't have as much time to recover it for.
I don't have any responsibilities. I don't have a wife or kids
we know
or
that.
anything like that. I can gamble as much as I want.
Or do you exert them?
No, that's what's very funny. In fact, one of my bets,
what's really attractive to women, Drake?
Gambling.
Clearly not.
Telling them that about you're sitting at having like meeting a gal for an appetizer, and you spend the entire time talking about your sports gaming with the Knicks.
That's the difference between you and me, Peter. I mean, you guys are so like, oh, I got to treat my wives, whatever. I can do whatever I want. If they don't like what I talk about, then they can go screw themselves. In fact, I don't care anymore.
Oh, I'm
going to be pure to myself.
Mr. Big Shot.
I'm going to be pure to myself. Who spends most of his time
lamenting the fact he's a lonely bachelor. Don't give me a break. Come on, come clean.
Yeah. Especially
okay, you did get me there.
Randy gets a zinger in, and that's good.
But seriously,
a win.
I'm true to myself. I'm not going to spend my 20s sitting here doing whatever,
gambling on the Knicks. Yes,
stopping my gambling, my love for sports, my love for dinosaurs and birds and all this other stuff. You lose that whenever you find the right one. And I'm just going to sit back and enjoy myself.
That's not true. You
betting on the Knicks instead of the Thunder. Let me know how that works out.
You find the right one, and you'll support her hobbies and her tastes. I have to sit through how many Food Network cooking shows?
Right. You have to sit through it.
But I do it because I love my wife, and it's important to her, so I do it. She puts up with my rock tumbling because at the moment that or my beekeeping or whatever my hobby of the day is, she puts up with that because there's a mutual love and respect. That's what it's called, Drake.
I know that's going to happen eventually. I want to live.
Not the way you're acting. Not the way you're acting.
I want to be able to do the stuff. I love fantasizing about sports and all this other stuff. And then, you're getting on my nerves, Randy.
Let's head out with All About Me. It's all about you.
Yes.
John, what's coming up when you bring us out of orbit again, back to Earth?
For Peter's benefit up in the Great White North, don't go baking my heart.
Oh, Lord. What was going to be next?
It's Wake Up Missouri.
And that would be all, except for this.
In these polarizing times, Minnesotans have found something they can agree on: the thrill of the meat raffle. Meat raffles been around pockets of the U.S. for a long time, offering a fun way to raise money for charities while handing out prizes ranging from ground beef and hot dogs to chicken breasts and steaks. But while inflation is surging, meat prices have soared. Minnesota's $70 per event prize limit hasn't changed in 40 years. There's legislation going through that's almost a sure bet to respond by upping the cap in Minnesota to $200 for the prize pack. Andrea, Mama Avalo's got fajita meat, beef sticks, and pork chops. She won in a meat raffle last month at the American Legion Post in Waconia, Minnesota. Moments later, she realized there was a surprise hidden beneath the beef and sausages. Oh, my God, I have pork chops, she explained. I picked a good one. I'm so excited. Meat raffles originated during World War II as a response to wartime rationing and eventually migrated to Minnesota, Wisconsin, New York, and even a few other states. So, Peter, the big question is, have you ever won a meat raffle?
You know, I have not even participated in one, and I feel kind of sad and disturbed.
Well, you have some Minnesota history for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dare. I can go full on.
I think I'll sponsor a Somalian pork steak raffle. What do you say?
That's not halal.
I know that. Thank you. I knew that. That's why I said it. Oh boy.
Again, I the idea of doing something like that seems like a fun deal for charity, and the whole bit. I appreciate that. I just have never been involved with a meat raffle.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of deals up in Twin Cities up there. You would think they would serve the raffle meat with a little lefse on their side, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're lucky, lutefisk.
Yeah, lutefisk. Not a fan.
You know, you're talking about bacon. How many of you, Peter, John, do you guys, if you're buying bacon, do you go through the various packages of bacon and try to get the leanest bacon you can so you get more red stripe?
No,
you just buy whatever's there.
I
don't care.
I look at the expiration date.
Okay.
And I actually look for the most fat because fat is flavor. Okay. And I don't get bacon very often, but it's when I do, I will buy up on bacon. I won't get the cheap stuff. I'll get the mid-level. I generally don't get the
Black Label Hormel.
You like the thick cut?
Yeah, thick cut.
Yeah, I like
a lot of fat.
Yeah.
I
try to buy the leanest I can. There's plenty of fat even with the low fat bacon.
Low fat bacon. I think they call that turkey bacon.
Yeah, and I think the only time I ever get bacon for the most part is if I'm out for breakfast. I'll get bacon.
Yeah.
I'll occasionally get a pack of bacon, but it's rare. I do eat a lot of eggs, but I don't do bacon or sausage on a regular basis. Not that I don't like it, as just I avoid it.
Yeah, periodically we'll have a slice of bacon, especially. Well, and then I love deer camp or turkey camp. I wonder how the turkey season's going for everyone.
Heard him gobble yesterday.
Yeah, I went out last weekend, and man, that sucker was 25 yards away, and but behind a bunch of brush and stuff, and I was just boxed in. I could not get him. The hens flew over to him, and then he was locked up there. Oh, turkey hunting can be the most frustrating thing in the world.
Lucky guy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
He had a harem of honeys.
Yeah. Drake needs to take a lesson from those gobblers.
He does.
Start strutting around and have all the girls.
How long are we going to stretch this joke out, Randy?
Have all
How
the
long
girls
do this?
fly to you. There's a new...
Well, I understand the turkey was really big into sports gaming.
Yeah.
He was.
He liked the Knicks just like Drake.
Isn't there a new sport coming to Mizzou?
Later, yes.
What is that?
There's lacrosse.
Yeah.
I think women's hockey.
Yeah.
There's a couple of smaller sports that are coming to Mizzou.
Yeah.
Or not coming to Mizzou because we have club teams. I mean, you can ask Stephanie. She loves the club teams. But we're talking like actual NCAA sanctioned sports.
They were even talking at Mizzou, at least I think club status initially, to bring on girls flag football.
That was it. Yeah, the other day I heard about flag football, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting because I think there's been speculation that as the money seems to be with the NIL and all that stuff, there was concern the money, whatever that means, from whatever source, was going to go to the big headline sports. But it's good to see.
Those sports you make money on.
Yeah. Well, but it's good to see they're still going to support the other ones. Yeah. It's good. Hey, when we come back, let's see what Steve Bucci has to say about Iran on Wake Up Missouri. 573-874-9390 if you want to text us about how you buy your bacon. Do you look behind the flap or not?
This happened.
It's your morning addiction.
The people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after.
Wake Up Missouri with Stephanie Bell, the Zimmer News Team.
Every single senator, every Democrat, and every Republican supports the bipartisan DHS funding bill.
And now, introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
Well, welcome back into Wake Up Missouri as we continue to await the next step, the next action in Iran, around Iran, the Straits. President Trump allegedly, we've heard, is going to be, or reportedly is going to be briefed on maybe some kinetic options out there. Let's see what Colonel Steve Bucci has to say about that. Joins us every week to help unpack what seems to be an ongoing now pause in the action. Economic fury taking precedence, Steve, over epic fury for the moment. What do you see in your crystal ball?
Well, I am not optimistic about the Iranians just, collapsing today and tomorrow and, giving up and signing a deal that's acceptable to President Trump, because everything else they've offered is, completely not acceptable, as they like to say in Congress. It's DOA. But I believe we're going to see a re-engagement of the kinetic options. I think they're going to go after specifically the IRGC leadership that's left, probably working with the Israelis to get some more of the leaders out of there who seem to be the holdup in any sort of reasonable resolution of this. And if they don't do that, I think, and this one I think they should do regardless, they need to really unleash the A-10s and the Apaches over the Straits, and anything that comes off of the Iranian coastline that has a wake behind it on the water should be taken out. They can do, leaflet drops, whatever they want to do to say, okay, fishermen, anybody who's just going out for a sail, you need to stay home. And that way, anything that comes out there we know is a combatant, and just take them out. No warnings, no, hey, turn around, just smoke them. And that will remove very quickly one of the IRGC's big leverage points on the Straits. That is my recommendation. I don't want every ship in the U.S. Navy floating through there. They're just become too lucrative a set of targets if there's too many of them. But using those aircraft, I think they can make a big difference at degrading Iran's ability to go screw with those unarmed merchant ships, the oil tankers and other civilian ships.
It's Steve Bucci on Wake Up Missouri. Steve, I think one of the big concerns I have with what's going on in Iran is that we really don't know who is running and who is making the decisions. Is that going to keep us from getting the peace we really need?
No, I don't think so. I'm guessing we have a little bit better handle on who is making the decisions than they're letting on to the press. That is something that our intel community, in conjunction with the Israelis, are pretty good at. The Iranian populace, the Iranian leadership are pretty well penetrated, specifically by the Israelis, with good human intelligence as well as some first-class technical intelligence. I don't think we're making a big deal of it, because the whole confusion thing actually works against the Iranians. They're starting to fight with each other. But I think we kind of know who the prime targets would be if we go in that direction. So I think we'll see this get resolved sooner rather than later. I think President Trump is running out of patience with this sort of flopping around and saying one thing and doing another. So I think you're going to see something kinetic here pretty soon.
That's Stephen Bucci, visiting fellow for Special Ops and Disaster Management at Heritage, at S. Bucci on X, joining us on Wake Up Missouri.
Colonel is a career Special Forces officer. Will there be a time, you think, when SF will be on the ground doing their primary mission of training guerrillas and or insurgents to overthrow the government?
I'm not sure about that. I think you'll probably see first, if we do make that decision to send people in, and I'm guessing we do have some people on the ground already, they're probably going to be the ground branch guys from the intel community. Those guys are mostly former special operators from the military because their missions are very, very similar. But it's a different message when intel guys go into the country than when you put the uniform guys in. That was the same kind of debate we had with Afghanistan. The agency guys went in first, and at the Pentagon, the secretary would say, well, when the heck do we send our people in? And we finally, said, sir, it's your call. It's the message that you and the president want to send. Sending in our guys sends a different message than sending in the ground branch. The capabilities are similar. Ours are just bigger, but the same kind of talent. So it's when the president makes a decision that he wants to cross that line, it'll happen. I think it's very possible. I also think you might see some of particularly our Tier 1 folks going in to hit very, very specific but very lucrative smaller targets, either people or facilities that can't be reached by air. Sometimes you have to get somebody on the ground to put the sights or the crosshairs right on the target. And I think that might be probably the first use of them rather than the guerrilla warfare kind of use that is, frankly, a traditional special forces mission.
Steve, I want you to listen to a little bit where Secretary Hegseth, Pete Hegseth, he wasn't very happy with what Democratic Representative Garamendi said the other day in testimony. Take a listen.
The way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in. The effort, what they've undertaken, what they've succeeded, the success on the battlefield that creates strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront a nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing propaganda to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. And statements like that are reckless to our troops. Don't say I support the troops on one hand, and then a 2-month mission is a quagmire. That's a false equivalation.
Well, a couple of questions. What do words like that tell our service members? And secondly, is it truly something when we have, legislators making public statements calling things a quagmire and what are we doing? Is that useful for the Iranian regime as propaganda? Is Pete right?
Yeah, the last question is the most relevant one. Does it help the other side? Absolutely. I mean, come on. They were saying this the first week that we were doing it. They say, oh, my God, it's another forever war. Okay, it hadn't even been 5 days yet, guys. Now it's 2 months. That's a tad more than what the president had estimated at the beginning. But it's hardly a quagmire, and there's no direct line or anyone who can tell me cognitively they know, well, we've been in there this long, and looking at it, we're going to be in there for years. That's just, that's a political position, not an analysis. So I think there's a lot of leaders in Congress that say this kind of stuff, and I understand they don't like what the president's doing. They're going to do whatever they can to try and get him to stop, or at least get him to look bad in the moment, so they can hopefully, in their mind, gin up more pressure from the American population against this thing. It's the same deal with the gas prices. The gas prices still haven't reached the levels that they did under President Biden in a couple of places and cases, or they point to California and say, oh, my God, look at the prices in California. Well, 2/3 of the prices in California come from California tax, not from pressure in the oil market. Look, I don't like paying more for gas than anybody else does, but it's hardly going to bring down our economy yet. If this went on for a decade, that'd be bad. This is not a decade-long thing. It's not even necessarily a year-long thing. So I think there's a lot of congressmen and senators who are performing and stepping way out with their supposed analyses. And, the Secretary of War got a little tired of it.
Yeah. Steve, I don't know about you, but I get really jazzed when I see some of the technology that is coming online. I don't know if you saw this, but they, out of Scott Air Force Base in just east of St. Louis, in our neighborhood here, the first operational Navy Stingray, which is an autonomous plane that can apparently refuel the jet fighters autonomously. They had a test flight. Apparently, it was quite successful. And I know you're an Army guy, but man, that has to make you feel good that we're developing this technology. That we've had an accident with a refueling in air. Pretty cool technology, isn't it?
Oh, trust me, I'm a ground guy, but I ride around on the aircraft. I jump out of the aircraft. The aircraft come and get us when we get in trouble or it's time to go home. We love all those guys. We give them incredible grief all the time, about their manhood levels and things like that. But we know they're really, really good at what they do. And we love the fact that whenever you hear an aircraft above you, if you're on the ground in one of these situations, we know they're ours, and we know they're there to help us do our mission and get home safely. So, we love the technology, no doubt about that. It is, as an American, kind of awesome, when you hear people of the same ilk as the legislator that the Secretary of War was talking to say, oh, America, we're so behind. The Chinese are brilliant. All these adversaries are just so far ahead of us. Yeah, then what happened to all that Chinese and Russian technology that was defending Iran that disappeared in puffs of smoke?
Yeah.
In, about a week and a half, almost all of it was gone.
Yeah.
I don't think we're doing so bad. And I really think America is still at the cutting edge of not just military technology, but all technology that's worthwhile. And there's some good competitors out there. A lot of them are technically our allies, and we're okay with that. We don't really like it when adversaries get it.
Right.
But it turns out we can make it better than everybody else can.
Well, you are a great American, and you are a great patriot. Thank you, Colonel Steve Bucci, for being with us. It's always great to talk with you. Look forward to the next convo. I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about next time. Appreciate it.
It's not going to go away in a week.
No,
so we'll be back talking about it.
All right. Thank you. Back with the Market Report after this.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
There's the morning bell. We just got done talking about Iran. Is it a up or down influence on the markets, Peter?
Well, today it's looking good.
All right.
Dow Jones Industrials futures are up 309 points. NASDAQ futures up 194.
I'll take it.
S&P 500 futures up 36. That's good. U.S. shrimpers, by the way, are facing double whammy of high fuel costs and tariff refunds.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of lobsters, going to become much more expensive.
What will they do at the White House?
I don't know. Because Maine is the newest state to go after the real wealthy, and it's and as it was pointed out by John Catsimatidis, who is a magnet of media and groceries and stuff like that, he said, well, remember, people who have money, they can move. Mm-hmm. People who don't have money won't. Going on right from there. Chairman Powell is going to stay on board after term. He's rejecting the shadow chair tag. And so that's part of the deal. I don't know why he doesn't just resign and go into the sunset, but that's me. Let's see. It's Bitcoin is up slightly today, as well as Ethereum, and Doge is up, and SHIB is all up as of right now in the cryptocurrency market. So it'll be an interesting day to go and watch what's going on in the market. And as we see things that are happening in Democratic states, trying to figure out how to tax the super wealthy, how to go out and California doing this thing where they're going to do a one-time tax on unrealized income, unrealized wealth, on stock holdings, real estate holdings. What's going to happen to those states? And there's a lot of these people that are already leaving or already left. I think there's something that's an action plan for Missouri, is that these are people, these high-tech companies, these big billionaires can put a lot of businesses in the state of Missouri, and I think it's an important thing for Governor Kehoe and our leaders to be very aggressive on.
Peter, do you think that the Mamdanis and the Newsoms of the world are making a terrible mistake assuming that people that are the base of their socialist enterprises are not going to leave? It's like they're almost daring them to call their bluff. Yeah,
they are. And here's what's going to happen is that if you're going out and saying we're just going to tax the wealthy, well, the wealthy are going to keep on getting, quote unquote, not that wealthy. Also realize this, income does not equate wealth.
Yeah.
It's is that you may be worth a whole lot of money, but you may not make a ton of dough.
No.
And so they're going after people who are just frugal and watching their cash. And that's bad for this country and for those communities.
That's Peter Thiel in for Stephanie and the Morning Bell. What is the longest running reality TV show? We'll answer the question when we come back on Wake Up Missouri. And Stephanie's out. Peter in for Steph. John Marsh there, and Drake hanging out as well. Now
Wednesday. You know what's happening Wednesday?
Oh, Wednesday. I don't know. I'd sure like to have some appetizers and hang out with a bunch of great conservatives.
That's going to be happening at KWTO.
Oh, really?
93.3 KWTO.com is Politics and Pints.
Oh, how cool.
Eric Erickson will be there. You'll be able to hang out with Randy and Stephanie and Elijah Haar, and other wonderful people will be at this event. It's totally free, except you have to buy your beer.
Yeah.
Or wine. They'll have beer and wine. And so all you have to do, but free apps, and hang out. It starts at 5:30 in the afternoon, goes till 8, and you'll want to be a part of this. Go to 933kwto.com, register, and be a part of it. We all look forward to meeting you. I'll be there even.
I can't wait. It'll be a big, big event. We talked to Eric yesterday in the program. It was a lot of fun. The guy is warm and gracious and so knowledgeable and can really unpack things so well. So I guess, will there be some time for some Q&A and stuff too, probably? Or
No, it's going to be
just hanging out.
Hanging out.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give the listeners, I'll save them some time from asking this question. No, Randy is not an actor. That was the worst acting I've ever heard. I'm sorry. At the beginning of that little bit that you were doing. That was god-awful. I'm sorry.
No, it was Leonardo DiCaprio-like.
I thought it was Oscar.
It was.
That was Academy Award level acting. Are you kidding me?
That was terrible. Holy.
Oh,
and that was
terrible.
Now that was I had no clue that was coming. That was spontaneous. That was.
Yeah. Wow. Don't quit your day job for the love of God.
He's the king of the world.
Oh, man. Look at this.
Yeah, it's
the abuse I get from Whitman over there.
Yeah.
Well, but I do know, in terms of number of seasons, I also have the number by length in terms of years of the longest running reality TV shows. What do you think those might be? What do you think the longest running?
Oh, I already know what
number
it
of
is,
seasons.
Yes.
Okay, Drake.
Is it Survivor?
You got it.
Yeah.
50 seasons. Up next is The Challenge. What is that? I don't know The Challenge. Do you?
Yeah, that's where they're going on. These shows were great for their first 2-3 seasons. Then it's a repeat. And I had not seen Survivor in the longest time. And I was at my sister's house, and my sister and her husband watch it. That's one of the shows that they had DVR'd, and they started watching a couple of episodes around Easter. And I'm watching it, and I'm going, okay, this show is, basically the same. I got really, really bored with it after about season 3.
That's an L take, Peter. No, Survivor's peak. I love Survivor.
Well, you're not alone.
Awesome.
Took the number of unscripted shows. That's that genre.
And by the way, they're not unscripted.
They took a nosedive last year, falling 15%. So they're falling. Maybe people are getting a little bit tired of those and sensitized. So what do you think the longest running years-wise show is?
Oh, well, one would think it would have to be Survivor, right?
Cops.
Oh, Cops?
Cops.
What about The Simpsons? But that's not a reality.
It's not a reality show.
So Survivor's run 50 seasons. Cops has run 37 seasons, but I guess that just means there's more seasons per year for Survivor.
Right? Yeah, I think at one point they were doing like 3 seasons a year.
Yeah. It debuted 26 years ago.
Yeah.
It recently premiered its 50th season. I don't know that I've ever watched a full episode of Survivor.
That's
not a big
surprising.
Survivor fan.
What's the other one that's sort of odd out there?
First year was
Naked and
Afraid. Yeah, Naked and Afraid. Yeah, it's naked people walking around the woods being stung by ants and bees.
I'm sorry.
That just sounds like the type of fun that just seems like a dream night of just hanging out, having some Chablis and some having some goat cheese on a cracker. That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's not even on the list here. Dancing with the Stars has 34 seasons.
Yeah, boy, that's...
The Bachelor, 29 seasons.
Hopefully that's over now that the Bachelorette thing went so sideways.
Now, America's Most Wanted is a good show. I like that. Occasionally I've seen that. I like those kind of things. Those are good. Top Chef. Peter, I know that's one of your favorites.
I've seen an episode of that. Yeah, again, it's the idea here that these shows have become so predictable. It's so common. It's not an unusual thing anymore. And the networks love producing those shows. You know why?
Why?
They're cheap.
Are they?
Yeah, they're very much cheaper because you're not paying a huge star. You have a show that has a huge star, like the cast of Friends during that show. These people made bank. They made like $1 million an episode.
Okay, so
you're dealing with some schlumps from the public, and all you have to do is pay the minimum.
Plus, the expectation on the production side is not as much, right? Someone could almost film that with a camera, just an iPad or something, right? I mean, as far as it doesn't take all of the lighting and the staging and everything. So,
correct.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to do. The most difficult thing is that you have to have all the production site on location.
Yeah,
and that's the expensive stuff, and to get the remote crew there to.
It's not as. Some of these look like home videos, frankly.
My favorite reality show of all time was Strange Love.
What?
That was the one with Flavor Flav and Bridget Nielsen as a couple, and it was so weird. It was wonderful.
Flavor of Love was the name of the show.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and he did a dating game thing.
Oh,
and
Flavor of Love.
Yeah, with Flavor Flav, and then it came out afterwards that he actually had a girlfriend or a wife and while he was doing this show, had a couple of kids that were born during the time.
Wes texts us. This is good. Wes is texting us saying the oldest, quote, reality TV show, CBS Evening News, fake news since May 1948.
There you go. People say the same thing about Meet the Press.
Yeah. Especially with Chucky Todd, huh? Oh, man. He and Chucky Schumer. Ugh. Guys were connected at the hip at birth. Little different age, I know, but. Deadliest Catch? You can't fake those injuries. Is that a reality show?
Yeah. That's where people are out.
Fishing show,
Yeah, they're out catching crabs. Crab catching and
I thought that was a Flavor Flav show.
It's
I thought that was Campus USA. What do you
or
mean?
the Bachelor, and so
oh man, this show is devolving minute by minute.
You guys are awful. You guys are over here like, oh, it's not great. It's all scripted. It's whatever. It's TV. Just sit down and enjoy it. Stop trying to dig so deep into it. I love Survivor. I can just turn my brain off and watch the stupid drama unfold. And yeah, it is pretty similar season to season, but it's different people. It's got little different stuff. I mean, just enjoy it. Stop trying to dig deep into it like, oh, this isn't great film. It was made with a camcorder and yada, yada, yada. My shows that I like are very high.
I don't
expenses.
care. No, I like the reality.
Exactly.
I like the production values of when it has sort of an everyman feel to it. You know, it's
great.
It's a populist kind of.
You guys are digging too deep into it. I love Survivor.
Hey, Savannah, what's her name from St. Louis, won last year's.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think she's back in the cast this year, too.
Oh, so they become stars in their own right, even though they started out, Now, did you hear about what's going on? Do you like, speaking of reality shows, do you like the Fox News, the Veritas hidden camera thing? Do you like that? And sort of the
gotcha
journalism where, I don't know how this evolves. It's almost like a honey trap thing, right? Do they get some attractive young journalists to get on a date with these guys who hold positions in government or industry and then
get a couple of drinks in them and
So Project Veritas caught Jason, Hermes, Hermes, who is apparently in charge of everything at Fox Weather, I think, or Fox Business. Anyway, he talks about abuse of the Fox expense account that he was in charge of. Get a load of this. This is fascinating stuff.
That's what the client wanted.
I'll be honest, we used to be able to go to strip clubs.
On Fox News?
On Fox, on NBC, with the corporate...
No way!
This. You could take this walk into a strip club, literally, and spend $4,000.
Oh my God.
You could put anything on it.
Really?
You could say, well, the client wanted to go to a strip club. You're like, dude, it's Tuesday at fucking 3 o'clock.
Whoop, sorry. Hit the button. Hit the button.
All righty then.
Yeah, that's playing those are not a good idea.
Well, no, I stopped it. I stopped it a little bit late. But this guy is saying that you can put $4,000 on a strip club, and basically it passes muster at Fox News to go to a strip club on the corporate account. Hello.
I'm just like going through, and I've had expense accounts in my thing. I would never think of that. I would never think of taking a client to a jiggle joint.
Yeah.
That just makes no sense whatsoever.
I don't know, man. What happens? You get high up in these levels, and do you think you're immune to accountability? You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. No one I know at Zimmer Radio is going to abuse the account. You just don't do that.
Yeah, it just.
I don't know.
Again, it's. And maybe some of these people get multi-million-dollar, you have a multi-million-dollar client, and you just do whatever you can to get the money out of them.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. And then there's this story, Peter. Well, your favorite congressman.
Oh, I have a lot of them.
Shri Thanedar.
He sounds like a child from Michigan.
He's from Michigan, yeah.
And he's got great hair, of which Randy and I are immensely jealous.
He said, remember, folks, Republicans are not the party of creepy men trying to intrude their way into women's private business. They just want to interrogate you about your favorite abortion method at a national congressional hearing. What a loser this cat is. I don't know. That these people can get elected in 2026 is frightening to me. Peter, you got something for leftovers?
Yeah.
Okay, when we come back, we'll do that on Wake Up Missouri. Stay tuned.
It's Wake
Well, we're back on Wake Up Missouri. Time for leftovers. We remind you that it's not a leftover, that the Supreme Court, just to cover the big news of yesterday, but the Supreme Court has basically struck down any racially motivated gerrymandering, which may make a challenge to, well, certainly this was about Louisiana's gerrymandered on racial grounds, 2 districts. But it could lead to a challenge in many other places, and probably will defeat the challenge to the recent change in Missouri's congressional districts. Because one of the grounds that as I understand it, for opposing that was that the largely more represented, minority population in Emanuel Cleaver's district would be diluted by the new districts, and that would be unfair racially. Well, that's now not a part of the discussion in the wake of this, at least as I understand it. But I'm not a lawyer. We'll be talking with lawyers up ahead to talk about that. Peter, what do you have on leftovers?
Well, Katie Porter, she's running for governor of California.
You've contributed to her campaign.
Oh, man, have I. Yeah. So she put out a fundraiser letter after the assassination attempt on Trump and all that stuff that happened over the weekend, where in the subject line, she used the term F, you know what that is, Trump, and she used F Trump, the full word, the full deal, 4 times in the letter. Fundraising letter, yes. And
like right on the heels of that
event.
Yes. Wow.
And so she's an absolute and utter despicable human being. It really is. I hate to say that, but that's just the truth.
Do we know, I guess what's as interesting, Peter, would be like who in the world would respond to that? Even if you generally don't like Donald Trump and you like Katie Porter, I mean, would you respond to that? That would be diminishing to one's character.
Well, there are some people, though, Randy, that I know you're aspirational, that hate Trump so much that's probably something to get them to make an online donation.
That's probably a major trigger to donate. Yeah, for a lot of people. Well, it's just so sad to me that people would not dishonor that and refuse to donate, and maybe send a message to said Katie Porter. How's she doing in the polls? I mean, she's
the losing Eric Swalwell, has created an opportunity for her. Because he was considered, shockingly, the most stable of the real anti-Trump candidates for governor in California.
That's the best they can offer?
Yes, that's it.
Now, how about Steve Hilton? Is he going to have a chance of a snowball, you know where?
No.
Yeah.
Now it's over with. There was a chance with Swalwell that the final 2 candidates would be Republicans.
I see.
It's now done. I just don't see it. Unless all of a sudden Xavier Becerra, who used to be the Attorney General of California, who's not doing well in the polls, who worked for the Biden administration, his Health and Human Services, I think, was where he was at. He's trying to go through it, and so far he has been the candidate with the highest name recognition that's going nowhere. And now maybe with the Swalwell fall off, that will happen and go from there. Here's the other leftover I have, and this has more to do with the Mike Vrabel thing.
Okay.
He and his wife went on a marriage summit.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you this, folks. If you and your spouse are going on a marriage summit, that's a sign that divorce attorneys are next.
That's it. I wonder if she has a prenup.
This is so bad.
They've been married so long the prenup wouldn't work. They've been married 20 years.
Okay.
This story just keeps on getting deeper and deeper. Did you see that there was a shared playlist between those two called Turning the Page? Whenever I think he was on the Titans and he was going through like a 4-game losing streak.
And he got fired. He got fired.
Between the reporter and him?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, this story is getting deeper and deeper and deeper.
And darker and darker.
It will never end.
So he's kissing this lady, holding her hands, and they're sharing playlists, and they want us to believe nothing else was going on.
Well,
she's Italian. I mean, that's how they say hello over there. I mean, give her a break.
Now, come on. Friends get in a hot tub all the time, Peter. Come on.
Are you telling me that you and your friends don't finger lock looking at beautiful Sedona?
Yeah. Come on.
Well, I'm a single man. You see, it's now.
There you go.
If you're married, that's not good.
Tomorrow I'm out. You're in.
Yeah,
and
Jennifer will be here.
And you, ladies and gentlemen, that will be a show to
how
behold.
unlucky you are.
Oh boy. That's Peter Thiel.
Jennifer's in for Gary.
See you tomorrow.